on your mind? It's important to me. Coming together. Let's talk. Family. Avenues of dialogue. Different views too. Reasoning together. Great minds. Seeking truth. Whutev TV is where we will be. Come join us on Whutev TV.
Welcome to Brother, where great minds seek truth. I'm your host, the Anointed One. And my guest he's a special brother. It's a blessing and an honor to have him on my show. He inspires many, a force from the streets, a force of positivity. He's an artist, a digital advertiser, a designer, a black business owner, and more importantly, a mentor. I introduce to you Brother Allen Stratton A.K.A. the Leather King. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
All right. Let's start. Speak to us about your journey. What were some of your aspirations as a youth?
As a youth, let me start with, first of all, growing up in the type of environment that I grew up in, I just wanted to just be happy.
Right.
That was one of the top aspirations, because, it's just a lot of sadness at that time. But, we would just wish for just best for, like Christmases and holidays. And I didn't have any top goals outside of that.
Okay.
Trying to get some Christmas gifts.
Okay. So now, the name of this show is OG from Saigon to Mentorship. Kind of tell our guests, where is Saigon and how did that impact your life?
So Saigon, that's the name of our neighborhood. So it became that way. It got that name from the type of environment it was. It's a really bad environment. So Saigon is a neighborhood that's in South Philadelphia. It's on it stretches from 13th and basically Bainbridge to 13th and Catherine. It's 4 project buildings. The actual name of the buildings are Martin Luther King projects.
Okay.
But the neighborhood at that time in the late 80s and early 90s were so bad that people start referring to it as Saigon. And Saigon was a city in Vietnam that was really bad. Right. So it was a war zone.
Right. So
they applied that same mentality to our neighborhood and they called it Saigon.
Oh, okay.
So there's nothing good wrapped around it. It's definitely a nickname. But growing up in that type of hardship, I kept that name because I like to stand on and adapt what I grew up under because it made me who I am.
Okay. Now, speaking on that, going further on that topic, how did Saigon and the neighborhood impact your life moving forward? The next step, we know we're going to get into in the future some of the great things you did, but let's let the viewers understand what the streets can give you.
Okay. So Saigon, like I said, at a very young age in Saigon, I was taught some of the most valuable lessons I'll always remember for the rest of my life. Like I said, it was a really bad neighborhood, and drugs, guns, anything that you could think of that were the things that you didn't want to be around or want your kids to be around, they were there. And you were either a lamb or a wolf. When you came out of the house, you were subject to everything or anything that was going on around there. What was a blessing for me was I had my family, I had men in my life, which a lot of my friends growing up, they didn't.
Okay. So
I had men in my life to give me a chance to understand the balance of life. At a young age, I caught a case.
Okay.
I caught a drug case, a federal drug case. I was 19, just turning 20. I caught a federal drug case. It put me away. It gave me a 20-year sentence, right, for my part in what I was indulging in. And at that time, when I got locked up, I made a conscious decision. I told myself either I was going to, whether I got a life sentence or whether I came home tomorrow, I made a conscious decision to change my lifestyle, right? I never glorify the things that were going on. I only use them as life lessons. This is not something that a child should look at and say, or a youth should look at and say, hey, he was a gangster, or hey, he was handling his business. He had cars, he had clothes. I don't even speak about the things that I had in that era because I don't want it to be misconstrued as something that's good.
Right.
I only speak about the type of things I went through and the man that made me, right? Because we have a big gap with the children today.
Yes, we do.
And we don't know how to deal with them as far as men are concerned. Everything you hear is, they do this and they do that. They show all the things that the youth do that aren't like we did.
Right.
And we have the misconception as, I'm going to speak for myself, as a person who was bad in bad environments and doing things that you thought were good, but they were really bad. We look at it and say, oh, then we wasn't doing that. And that's wrong. Because you can point out all types of things that they did and that's different from what they did, but what's at the top of it? The fact that it was wrong.
Right.
And we glorify it today as men. We glorify it and we say, oh, we wasn't doing this, we wasn't doing that. We still was doing wrong. Yeah. We were selling drugs, shooting people, robbing, everything else that was under the sun that we look at in the hood as being the right thing. Right? You're original. I'm an OG.
Right.
I was given the title OG because I made it through.
Right.
And that's how I look at it. But the term OG is original gangster.
Yeah.
Right? So why is it cool to be a gangster? It's not cool to be a gangster. I take the title because I made it through.
Right.
Am I saying it's okay to be a gangster? Not at all. Do I want to set a path to the youth to let them know this is the better path to take? Yes, indeed. And I'm going to use my story and my past to try to create a better way for them to make better decisions.
Okay. So, and saying that, what would you, to the young brothers that you just gave them a piece of advice that what you did is not something you want to glorify, but what kind of direction would you give them to give them, like you say, a lot of the brothers that you came up with didn't have strong men in their life. You being a strong man, what advice would you give the youth today?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, I want to say that we got so many youth out here that don't want to participate in what's going on, right? It's a lot going on out there, and the way they do things now, the youth, the way the values and the lack of loyalty of the game, as we call it, we had like a loyalty to each other. We started making money, and it's like, all right, man, you gonna do this together. We're gonna start making money. We're gonna feed our family. We're gonna do these different things together. Now it's more dog eat dog. As soon as you get something in the youth lane, then the other one backstab them. Now, there was a lot of wrong things happening, but this is what I want to say. There's a lot of youth today that don't want to participate in what's going on. So they're looking for help. They're looking for ways out, right? That's why we got to hold the men accountable first and say, look, you're accountable. So now we got to hold ourselves accountable first, and now we can give them good advice and say, hey, come over here. Come to us. Let me help you. Go to this man. Let me help you. Right? We got to have a support system with each other, right? So we could go back and send them to each other. So I recommend any youth to attach to any type of man that's around them that they see that's doing something positive, right? Because he could give you some type of guidance in order for you to learn different steps that you could take in order to become better, right? That's something basic that any youth can do. Find someone that's doing something positive around you and attach yourself. And that's the first step, and then you can start doing different things, and you'll get better on anything, on your growth and for the future.
Good. Okay, let's go into, we know you're a multifaceted young man. So let's let the viewers understand, what are you doing? What steps, how did you get where you turned your life around, and that's a blessing. But what are some of the steps? What do it take? A lot of people want the prize, but they don't want to put in the work.
Yeah.
I want you to illustrate for people what it takes to get where you are.
No sleep. It takes no sleep. You are not allowed to sleep. And then people are like, yo, how do you do this? How do you be up doing all the stuff? So anything that we do in life becomes when you practice it, it becomes repetitive. So you gotta have a drive, you gotta create a passion on whatever it is you want to do. I had a long, rough journey. And like I said, I don't negate my journey, the bad journey that I had, but I don't recommend it. Right? But the journey that I had, I used that to pivot and to stand on to go do more things. I don't like sleeping. Like, we used to have sayings and phrases when we were younger that came from the older people. Right. They'd say, don't go in the kitchen if you can't stand the heat. Right? It's your bed, you made it, you gotta lie in it. Right. Like, these terms we used to think about, and then we'd go back and contemplate and make different life decisions. Right. Well, one of my favorite ones was, don't nothing come to a sleeper but a dream. Right. So while you got all these dreams and aspirations and you dreaming about them, if you get up and add 90% action into it and 10% talk, then you gotta get away from your bed. Right. You gotta get away from your chill zone. We want to chill. We want to relax.
That comfort zone.
Yeah, you gotta come out of that. You gotta go and do it. I had my journey concerning getting locked up and being in bad environments, and I can go on and on about the hardships I went through. But the point of the matter is that if you want to make something happen, you got to sacrifice. And in this case, it could just be your bed.
Right.
It could be your sleep.
Just get up.
And the more you do it, the more you want to do it. If we build in a house, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how we used to build houses. If you're a mason, mm-hmm. and you ain't have to be a mason just to watch it. They started with one brick.
One brick at a time.
Now I mean, now you keep on adding bricks and you see a whole building. Right. So you gotta sacrifice. You gotta sacrifice in order to build, in order to see something come up that's great.
That's good. So tell us about your businesses. I mean, we know, like I say, you're known as the Leather King, and you make one of a kind hand sewn and made leather items. Tell the viewers about that. Let's blow you on for a minute.
Okay. All right. So I have 3 businesses at the current moment. One of them is a nonprofit. But my first business, I'm A. Stratton. I'm the Leather King. I make handmade, exclusive, one-of-a-kind pieces. So I had a 20-year sentence, mm-hmm. right? During that 20-year sentence that I received, I said, you know what? Since I'm changing my life, let me start finding something that I could do while I'm in jail that will help me when I go home. Right. So my mother is a seamstress. My mother had 2 boutiques. My mother used to sew and make jackets. I don't care if it was a jean jacket with the rhinestones on it, sequence jackets. She used to make stuff when I was younger. And she taught me how to sew. I've been sewing since I was 9. Okay. So now that I'm on this sentence and I'm doing this sentence, I said, what can I do that I would like while I'm doing this time? So I was already inclined to fashion. Right. So what I did was I ran across the leather hobby craft in there, and I started making things. And as I started getting better at it, I said, hold up. I need to know the business aspect behind it. Right. So now I started taking classes. You know what I mean? To sharpen my sword, so when I get home, I'll be in a better position. Right. So I started learning more about economics and fashion, business. Started putting that towards my portfolio so that I would be in a stronger position when I get home, and I wouldn't have to backpedal to what I was doing. Right. So now I came home, 2012, and as soon as I came home, I started my business, my leather business, which was making special pieces. Whoever wanted to buy it. Then I created another business 2 years later, which was AST Express, and that's a carrier service. Okay. So I got vans, and we drop off different packages for different companies. Okay. Now, in 2016, a couple years after that, 2016, we were able to start the next program, which falls dear to my heart, which is Whutev. Okay. Whutev is the nonprofit organization, right? Mm-hmm. Teaching kids how to become entrepreneurs, leaders, and mentors, right? And those are the three businesses that I'm running right now, and I'm proud of them. And I thought, like I said, no sleep. Right. There's no sleep is how I'm able to do this. Right. Running 2 LLCs and 1 nonprofit, right? And what we need behind that, you need help. Right. Because teamwork made the dream work. And we need promotion. Right. To get it out there so we can keep doing it.
So this is promotion. Let the people know where they can find you at.
So you can find me on as my LLC business. You can find me at A Stratton. That's ASTRATTON. That's on Instagram, Facebook, and that's the website. And I'll say it again. That's A Stratton. That's ASTRATTON.
All right. Okay. So now we know that you're into mentorship, and I see your daughter that you have already immersed her in learning entrepreneurship and digital design advertising. So let's talk about your daughter. I mean, let's give her some time. Yeah. Tell us about your daughter. I know she's special to you.
What? So I got a 9-year-old daughter, and I'm 6'4", so she almost my height. She's 9. But, so her name is Alana, right? And I'll say like the first 2-3 years, I've been teaching her anything that I could teach her concerning with my hands. I'm really good with my hands. So I've been teaching her how to sew, how to do paperwork, as far as like mache, screen printing, airbrushing. Now she's really picked up vinyl cutting. Okay. So she likes to make shirts, hoodies, sweatsuits. Now I'm teaching her the business aspect of it. Okay, so you can have a brand. Right. So someone could come in and start printing and create a brand. Right. This is the name of my brand is A Stratton. Right. So the difference between a brand and creating a business, a printing business, is the brand, you may start it, but you don't got to make money from that right away. Right. You can, that's just you showing everybody, this is my type of sweatsuits. I got hoodies, hats, whatever it is. And then people start to like it, but that comes with consistency. The more you advertise it, show it, you know what I mean? You don't got to make money from it right away. Right. You know what I mean? But when you do a press and print business, you can make money right away. So I'm teaching her how to go to a company and secure a contract or secure just a job for that moment. Mm-hmm. So I will come to you, and what's the name of your podcast?
Anointed by Design, Brother to Brother is the name of the podcast. Anointed by Design is the company. So she could come to you and say, hey, I make t-shirts. Can I press some t-shirts for Brother to Brother? And then you'll say, all right, well, let me see some of your work. She'll show you her work. And then maybe you'll give her a t-shirt deal for 12 t-shirts or 50 t-shirts. Right. You make money right away when you're doing print. Okay. And that's what I want to teach her. And I want to teach the kids that are in our organization how to go out and make money right away. Okay. Well, we know you're a mentor, and you told us about your business. Now, how about I know your main focus is the youth. So Any youth that is watching this podcast, or the parent or someone in general, how can they reach out to you? How can the youth, where do they find you at?
Well, you can come to, like I said, you can go to my business page, my A. Stratton page. It's cool, but we want to direct all traffic to our Youth Elm, right? And we got Youth Elm on TikTok, and I know y'all on TikTok and Instagram, right? And you can go there, and it's just like that. It's the word youth and then the word elm, ELM, all one word. You go there and you can DM us. The email is on there, and then go from there. Like if you want to get special help on creating a t-shirt line or a business, or you want to learn more about just becoming an entrepreneur, because we teach other resources too, not just press and print. And what we don't teach, we got the resource to connect you to. You want to be a firefighter, you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, we putting you there with them so that they can help you out. Okay? So you go to Youth Elm, which is the word youth and ELM. And you can hit us up.
You heard it here, y'all. If you need help, your children, your single parents, come to Youth Elm. Let them help you out. Let them give you guidance. And the name of this show is OG from Saigon to Mentorship. This is Allen Stratton. I'm 501. We out. Peace.
See ya.